Okay, welcome back everyone to the 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 7th, 2022. I think we're ready to begin the second part of the show here. Mr. Kesh, are you ready to entertain some questions?
Yes, willing and hopefully able to.
Okay, well, first we have a comment in YouTube from N. Vilken. Mr. Kesh, thank you. Very important day. Today is also St. John the Baptist Day by the Christian calendar. A big day for humanity with your knowledge. Okay, we have a question from Alexandra through Cristiano of the Brazil group, I believe. It says, Mr. Kesh, when you say that we allowed the soul of the man to become enslaved, I believe and agree. We even have an idea of what it is and know that we have to elevate and enlighten our soul. But how did this happen? Why did we allow such foolishness of being trapped in the physicality? Why did we lose control of our own soul of the man? Where did we go wrong? What was our biggest mistake? Could you please elaborate more on this permission to be enslaved?
The slavery of the man, the physicality of the man and the soul of the man came out of the condition of the field of this planet, nothing else. When you created a physicality, a plant, animal, or whatever, in most of the universal dimensions, the planetary system becomes the provider of through fields, not through matter state consumption. Due to physical construction of the fields and the position of this planet, and it's the same with most of the solar system planetary with our solar system. We are not unique in that. Is that most of the created things within it were not given enough to live in the dimension of the field. So the physicality had to look for to be able to sustain. We call it life, to be continued. And in that process, when the intelligence came, when the understanding came, slowly, man or animals start abusing the position of power, the position of providing, the position of the knowledge. And then all the abuses started. The fault came in the fault of the structure of the fields of this planet and nothing else. The fields came together in the wrong way, and the fields came together in a very absurd way of creation. The slight tilt in the physicality of this planet has created a short-term life on this planet. What we consider at billions of years compared to actual structure is not the reality. If we extend the knowledge, then you understand what I'm trying to explain. Today, with the knowledge you have as knowledge seekers, and you understand it because you do it yourself, and we've done this before, if we take the materials you produce to a laboratory, they cannot tell its origin, which mind, which part of this planet has come from. But it is the matter which you have created, because you create out of the fields. So, does it have a time of 4 billion or 8 billion years of this solar system in it? one of the interesting things that the knowledge seekers and the scientists of the future will do is to analyze the source, the age of the proteins, amino acids you produce on your gas boxes. It has no source, it has no dimension of time. This is what the knowledge in the future will teach you. With you creating the amino acid with its manipulation of its fields leading to creation of the soul of your children, what would the scientists give us? What is the carbon they think? Because that carbon does not exist. You created the amino acid out of the fields. Then it goes back to another essential point that when they tell us up to now that we are 95%, 99% this animal or that animal, they haven't understood that we came from the combination of different fields and the condition of this planet enforces condition of the heart, the kidney, and the liver. You are not 99% another animal. You're on your own. You're the creatures of the time and what we call the position you were created. We didn't understand this up to now. So if you understand these points, what happened when I take a gas box on Mars? I take it into another galaxy and I create the condition for it, and it creates a new life. As I told you many times, it's in our lab. I carry a box with me for nearly 12, 14 years. I have created life. I see them. I see their soul. I see their physicality. They travel with me. Because I created a new cycle of life. Are these animals, are these creatures, or what you create in your amino acid? Are they 4 billion? Are they 4 seconds? Or are they, once the man become educated from the rays of the Creator, which is timeless and limitless? We have accepted a lot of what I call nonsense and rubbish in science, and now with this technology, all going to be thrown to the wall. You create that amino acid. Amino acid is the basis of a life. How old is that new life? Because the rays of it arrived on Earth few seconds ago from moon or from sun or from another galaxy and became the carbon in that amino acid. Now you understand how present science makes nonsense of the creation. And then you understand, did we save ourselves because of what brought us to, or is it because this planetary system could not support what it made to survive, and it found a way for itself to survive, which it became by killing and depending and the rest of it? You know the old story? They said men worship women because they could give life, and they could not, so the woman ruled. When the man found out that without him there cannot be any children to give life, he took charge. Because without me, you can't have children to control me, to dictate conditionally. And then when people could not understand, those who understood, as we say, found the fire. We did not become a slave. This planet did not create the support for the life it's created. So the life went to look for ways for it to survive in a short time it had. The first cells lasted a few seconds, and they learned how to extend it to minutes and whatever and whatever. And then those who became intelligent to understand what I have the other one needs, they started what we call the oldest business in the world. And the rest is the same. Then we allowed the hierarchy, then we allowed everything else, and then we allowed abuse and engagement of the soul of the man, even the same way by the soul of physicality of the man. Soul of the physicality of the man has abused the soul of the man by entrapping it. That is only me and I control it. And when I lose it, it's gone. I don't care. So it's a process in the lack of the dimension of the fields of the life of this planet, which has brought this conditioning. And Earth is not unique in that way. Many planetary systems fail. It's like your father failing to be able to provide for his children. Children go out, they rob, they steal, and anything to survive. And so has been the story of the man. This is why, in the new process, we create the children of the man from the soul of the man, not from the physicality of the man. And the first children of Mitra are born out. The change in the condition, even though from outside looks the same. Till the man knows, till we look at the soul of the man and not the soul of physicality of the man and the physicality of man in condition of the interaction with the fields of any planetary, solar, or field of the universe. We only can manifest ourselves if the field interaction of the soul and the soul of physicality in the interaction with the soul of the environment allows the manifestation. If it doesn't, you cannot manifest yourself. And we see this clearly in the enhancement systems people go in. They tell us things and we see the proof of what to be correct. They go to places, but they cannot manifest themselves, but they feel there what we call the fields. And they understand what they felt because it's like the way you dream. Imprints on the brain, which is an intermediary between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man. And this is the beauty of it, that we understand it's not the fault of the man who has become, is the misconstruction of this planet. This is why we encourage the use of the ganses to bring into balance what the fields of the planetary system could not do at the point of creation. When you use so many ganses so many ways, you make that connection between the planetary system and your physicality and your soul. And that's what's missing. You have to take zinc. You have to take such and such a thing. You have to take, man never knew he has to take CO2 to make connection between his physicality dimension. This is the strangest thing for me for years. And if you go to the teaching, we always said carbon is a connector. We need the CO2 as a connection between the soul of the man and soul of physicality of the man, and nothing else, more or less. But it's part of the amino acid. And this misbalance is not unique to Earth. But on Earth, man has learned to abuse each other. The time of maturity comes when we stop the whole process of religion. But we become the understander of the religion, which is this conduct of the soul of the. Because all the abuse of the man, both in dimension of physicality and the soul, has come through his lack of understanding of the presence of his soul within himself and those who abuse it in the name of religion. This is why religious leaders oppose the Keshe Foundation, because it gives you the independence, it gives you the understanding to understand the truth, and you have control over it now with the establishment of the enhancement. And now you understand. Is small, what we call change in the construction of a planetary system has led to need to find additional supply to guarantee extension of the physical life. But at the same time, the soul has used this to what we call enrich itself to find a position and a place. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. From live stream, we have you. You ask, can you please elaborate on why Earth was chosen as the bearer or teacher of the Creator's knowledge within this universe? Is it to do with the history of man?
Oh, no. It's the beauty it created, and the soul of Mitra saw it and got attracted to it. And love affair is not exclusivity of man today's age. Even dinosaurs used to fall in love, and the way they used to love this is the way the birds love each other and mate. That triggered Mitra. And the rest is the history of the creation. She saw the pitfalls in the structure of this planet, in the relation of why a lover uses or abuses other lover. And she went to collect the best of the universe, to bring it, to cultivate it in this beautiful planet. And nothing else. It's like when you find a home, you go and find the best furniture, the best things for it to show its beauty. And her beauty was to create these children on this beautiful place she fell in love with. And the biggest problem for Mitra was to bring the Creator, to create the children of Creator on this planet, to the dimension of the soul, which is the energies of the creation and not the physicality. But it gives it physicality of dimension that it can be enjoyed in both dimensions. Mankind has not understood yet what has happened to it. Mankind has not even got a grasp of what is to come with the presence of the Creator and Mitra and the children on this planet. Don't forget, as I said in all the teachings, even on the intro, your soul becomes the creator of other lives. Now the soul of the children of Mitra become creator of the new cycle of life in the universe. Perfection. Because they created through the soul, and not through the formation of physicality that he has needs. Any other question?
I was in the presence of someone that had an 18-month-old child a couple of days ago, and they were remarking on how smart and fast they were, how quickly they learned. It seemed like much faster than the older generations, kind of thing.
Yes, because they're accumulating everything. But now they accumulate the knowledge of the Creator and Mitra, which is an amazing thing. We are witness to it, and we see it. And The what we call the children of Mitra will come through the soul of the creation, not to the dimension of physicality. We feed them different. We look after them different. We love them different. Because dimension of physicality to them is not so important. We feed their souls. We teach their souls. We teach them about the cycle of creation. And children of Mitra are amongst us. We have no knowledge how they'll bring the change. It's very much like what we call the beginning of time. You call it the Adam and Eve, the first man. But this time, the first cycle is through the soul of the man, and it's amongst us. The child of Mitra has been born on this planet. It's for man to find out. Any other question?
Clarice in the Q&A here from, I believe from Brazil, yes, from Brazil as well, asks, how soon do you think all mankind will have access to the units?
First of all, our people have to understand the production of a perfect unit. As you've seen, we got step by step. It took us years to teach, took us years to build the first, and then took us years to bring the enhancement unit the way it is. And even with all the things done, we're still rapidly developing and changing and perfecting the system. It's not the knowledge that is not available. Our people have to understand the knowledge that it can be replicated. That it cannot be blindly, I say so, you do. They have to understand it, to feel it, and go through it. And then they can put it together the right way. In a way, it's like when you go to a bakery class. The teacher knows what cake you're going to get at the end, but it teaches you about what flours will give you this, why you need this sugar, why you need that, and then shows you how to put the ingredient together before you bake the cake. We are in that stage. Students have to learn which flour, why, and how can be used for what purpose. And our team are very fast, extremely fast, because they feel the fields, they feel what we see, what you see in the process of production. The most amazing thing is the production system, the production process team are from different nationalities. And we'll see how collectively they work together to bring these things together. You move out on Wednesday afternoon, and these people move in on Thursday morning and Friday morning to start the changes for the next Tuesday you come back in. You don't see them. They come from different cultures, different races, different understanding, but they know what is to come through their souls. And they work devotedly to get things done. And this was the whole purpose, that it doesn't belong to one place, one nation, one place. And then you get the others who come in the background, making other things ready for you to come in to receive. And this is how the knowledge is shared. And once they understand, then what we call the next steps come in. The most important thing for knowledge seekers now, the way I say it, is the energy enhancement units which has been released. We explained the reason for this very, very, very soon. Try to get as many as you can across this planet from different positions. Don't look that it gives me energy saving. You look that you create the next step for the expansion of the soul of the man on this planet. It's a different purpose. It's to serve and not to be served. And that's the whole purpose. Then you'll see the changes will. Any other questions?
Well, believe it or not, you've actually covered the questions that we have here today, and the attendees seem a little shy to raise their hands. I'll remind you once again, there is a function to have your virtual hand up. So there's one right now, just as I mentioned it.
Have you noticed we're getting to this now in the past few weeks? People have seen how what was promised to them coming to reality, that they have no question. They don't know how to answer their own questions. Or they find an answer to questions. It's the third, fourth week since we started the enhancement unit testing. Now what was told has gained a dimension of proof and reality. And a lot of people don't know how to handle this. It's not anymore something rupee. I was looking at the break, the flights and to be done in June. The flight of the soul of man started on the 6th of June as we promised. And this is the biggest problem for our knowledge. Fulfillment of a promise. And this promise was given by Christ, by Moses and Muhammad and the rest. And it's fulfilled. When the man becomes the witness of his own soul. And that was the promise. They all looked at it. Therefore, we call the day of judgment and the rest. Now we find out we are the judge. And the judgment is us. Do we want our soul to take next step to free it from the physicality, and how we do it the correct way? Many knowledge seekers in the near time will go to the dimensional soul to absorb the energy of the universe and come back within the dimension of physicality, but to feed it from inside, that man will not destroy, kill, or whatever. And you do this trip not every day, 3 times a day, as you do in a physical dimension of eating. You do it once a year, once every 1,000 years. But you gather fields which is in the universe free and does not damage no one. And through it, you feed the physicality of the man as need. It's an interesting time ahead as man understands more of. What is the question?
Okay, we have 2 hands up here now, and also a question in the Q&A. Antonio, perhaps you'd like to go first. If you could say who you are and where you're from, that would be great.
Antonio from Australia, and thank you for the teaching today, Mr. Kesh. I've been following you for quite some time now, and just a simple question with the new MagRav power unit. Now, does that have an effect on other people in the house, as in, say, 3 other people here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I would have to make them aware of that, or...
I think they become aware of it themselves.
Yeah.
They become, you see the change. You see the change in behavior. You see the change in understanding. You see the change in what I call knowledge, tolerance, and wisdom. You try to get the wife or the husband to work with the Ganses, and they call you, you're this and that. put a unit in the house, they worship you in time. Because
Yeah.
it brings love, it brings understanding. It creates a condition of peace. We tested this. We tested this in different ways. Now you see the fruit of it. We left ganses in the houses where there was a lot of conflict, just in jars, in cups, in all sorts of ways. And we've seen how the fighting battles have become loving battles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember something in Belgium. We had a young couple coming to see me, and they had a lot of problems in all shape of dimensions, each one of own with respect to the others. And we had a young couple and we had an old couple, the same but different conflicts and problems. I met this couple, both of them, after a few weeks of they used the systems. I asked the young guy, what is the position? He said, life has never been so good. It's so pleasurable to live. And I asked the girl beforehand, privately, what was the problem. And I knew the problem, both sides. And they fell in love with each other unbelievably because through the system, I elevated their soul. That's all I did. All the systems we delivered around, they call it medical system, is the elevation of soul system. Now that you understand, we can explain.
Yeah.
And it gets so bad, this love affair, that the man used to be a mechanic. I think they're on the line, they listen, they've always been following the teachings. And they can tell you if they're there, Monday they will tell you. She couldn't get enough of him. What was despair in relationship became unbelievable love affair. And he used to be a mechanic and he used to repair cars in the house. So traditionally in Europe, people do their works, garages, whatever, as part of the house living is connected to it. And she walks in trying to get him for, I found out the reasons later on. She wanted to show how much she loves him. She missed the ditch, which they have the dig to go underneath of the car, and she broke a lot of bones. She said, I came to show the love. Now I ended up with this. What used to be conflict? We had an old couple. They had a lot of conflict in the relationship. I gave them the elevation of the soul cup, but those days we used to cover it under different names. And after a few weeks, the old couple came. They were in their 70s. And I said, what's the position? She said, the both of them is so beautiful to live. We do a lot of things together we never could do before. I don't know what's in the cup and everything else. And I said, I want to do something. I made a cup for the soul of the man and I made a cup for the soul of the woman. And they were talking so beautifully, they're in love with each other again after years. I said, I want to give your cup to her and her cup to you. And come back to me and tell me. And they came back after a few weeks. And I said to the lady, what is the effect? She said, I love him more because now I feed through him and whatever. But he had a problem the first days when she was using the cup, which I used, was built for me, because he couldn't accept that he could be loved so much.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It is what now what you see as an energy enhancement unit. We are not calling it power, it's energy enhancement. It's the energy of the soul of the man to be enhanced. And none of you understood what it is. No money in the world can buy it. What it brings the joy to the house and changes in the mankind.
The old Magravs system is different to this one here, is it? That's right.
Yes. In a way, yes.
Yeah.
In a way, we have extended knowledge.
Uh-huh. Now, I've booked in for the flight system on the remote.
The mobile system.
Mobile, yeah, mobile system.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I've got a news for you.
Wow. Yeah.
You brought it up. We can tell you. We explained to you when we brought the mobile units that we will try to do it after November.
Mm-hmm.
If our system works the way we like, I have invited the first person to test this next week with us.
Good.
So
Okay.
we do not know the extent of the interaction, but and she is Australian, by the way.
Yep.
And we have, we think we are in a position. We'll run it for a few hours for a couple of days. In the next couple of weeks, we might go for the mobile transportation, what we call transportation of the soul. And we will inform people in the background. We ask you to please keep it silent, not to go out till now we smooth out all the, what you call it, the rough edges of the technology. And what we wanted to do in November and beyond to start, we actually start from next week. So you might get a call from us. Would you like to start? And please keep it quiet if any of you receive it. And we'll try. It doesn't mean we're going to be successful as we sort out all the parameters, but the advancement has been so much that from next week we start the transportation, the mobile system testing.
The reason, Mr. Cash, that I chose the mobile system is that I don't like to travel on these old aeroplanes. 30 hours of travel, it's too hard. So that's yeah.
I know, but we are going through that process of the transportation of the road transportation of the souls on the mobile dimension, and I think we are ready. The system is actually getting finished in the lab, and we should be able to start the first test. I told our team yesterday before, and we will start. The way we brought other people to use our technology, be perfected the way it's shown now, we'll go the same way. We keep it very confidential. We start a process to see how, what, where. And then many of you who booked a mobile option, you'll get a knock on the door, as they say, very soon.
Yeah. It's... I'm looking forward to that, Mr. Cash. And
if you have the new energy enhancement unit, makes it much easier for us to do this, because we can position you exactly where we want with the right energy transfer.
You're talking about the Magrav power unit?
Not the Magrav, the new enhancement unit. The new enhancement energy unit we launched last week is part of the transportation and transmutation. It is not just the energy as electric energy. That's why we call it power enhancement unit.
This is the one that the Iran has made, you're talking about?
Pardon?
The one from Iran, the unit?
It will be mainly in Iran, Austria, and Mexico. We'll produce it in 3 locations in China.
Okay. I'm just trying to toss up whether I need to invest in the Magrav power unit or having experienced the flight system is pretty much the same,
One has the position of being able for us to deliver. The people who buy the energy units will come, they get, as I said, a knock on our door for another purpose very soon. and what we call distance transportation transmutation will become part of this process.
Yeah.
It is part of what we need to do to extend and to bring what we are looking for. In a way, we make your bedrooms your airport, if you understand it.
Yep.
And
Sounds
then
great.
it's not sound great. It is, the technology exists, it's in our grasp.
Yep.
It's just that do you want to sit in the room with your daughter and your son and your wife, and at the same time have the possibility to bring the grandma, the grandpa, and the aunt who passed away years ago, and you all enjoy the presence of their soul? If you understand the implication of the new system. This is not anymore theoretical. This is the reality. I've seen many of the people who've been to the enhancement unit, especially in the last 2 sessions, we directly went for knowledge seekers to ask them to go to a member of the family. And we've seen it with even couples. They went and they saw their mothers and their fathers. We've seen the sister going directly for the brother. She's so much in love with him. It's amazing. And I have seldom seen so much love between the brother and the sister. It's amazing what is recorded. And you see the beauty of the soul. And this is what we're trying to bring.
So one thing that had a profound effect on me was a puppy dog that I called Robin Hood. And he passed away. Well, he got run over, and I was just devastated, absolutely devastated. It's taken me a long, long time to get over it. So in this transmutation system, I could meet Robin Hood again.
That's your decision of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
This is we are not studying for you to see the past. We are developing a space technology not only for the physicality of the man. And it's a scientific system. It's not something which is not. As I said, I explained before, we do what you do when you sleep. We extend the field of strength outside the boundary of the soul in a way weaker that the plasma of the soul of the man can travel. It's a wrong way to say if you get this, you do this and that. But we are testing. We are testing with the people who come to us without them knowing, or partially as what we do, in how we can bring these things together. It's very interesting how as I said, people in the center of the room feel compared when they're in a machine, even in respect to each other.
I noticed when I looked at these people who have been in the unit, they are glowing with in a way.
With the love and
the love.
excitement.
Yeah. It actually, I felt it emotionally myself. So it's very powerful.
We don't show most of the video recordings. They are kept in archive. And a lot of people don't want to record it. And we have people who've been through the system so profoundly affected them that they're coming back, they're booking for a second time. We already have second bookings and people want to book more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fundamentally changes them, fundamentally touches them.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. So we have another attendee here with a hand up. Carlos, would you like to go ahead, please?
Carlos Eduardo, Brasil.
Rafael, would you like to translate us, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning, Rafael.
Hello, Mr. Cash, good morning.
Could you translate to us, please?
Yes, sure. Oi, Carlos, pode falar sua pergunta, por favor.
Bom dia, Mr. Cash, Rick, Rafael e todas as belas almas aqui reunidas.
Pode fazer sua pergunta que eu tento só ser sucinto e mais claro possível para mim, por favor, Carlos, que eu passo para o Sr. Cash.
Certo. Na aula KSW 207 foi ensinado sobre a importância da vida dos seres verticais no conhecimento para as viagens para o espaço profundo, né? Inclusive ele citou, à medida que abrimos a viagem ao espaço profundo para o homem tem que entender esses segredos da criação.
Deixa eu só traduzir, senão vai ficar muito longo para ele.
Certo.
So, Mr. Cash, I will translate. He will continue his question, but start this way. First of all, he say, good morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. And he say, in the teachings of the Knowledge Seeker Workshop 207, it was taught about the importance and life of the vertical beings in the knowledge for traveling to deep space. And the quoting starts like this. As we open up the journey to deep space for man has to understand the secrets of creation. He will continue now his question. Pode continuar, Carlos, por favor.
Este é dos pontos vitais e ele será usado em todas as viagens da dimensão espacial do espaço profundo. Este é dos pontos fundamentais de compreensão da criação, da conversão. E as plantas fazem isso com tanta habilidade e nós, como humanos, que não compreenderam até agora. Agradecemos mais orientação sobre essa questão.
So, continuing the quote, he's saying that this is one of the vital points it will be used in all journeys from the space dimension into deep space. This is one of the fundamental points of understanding the creation of conversion, and plants do it so skillfully, and we, as humans, do not understand this until now. So could you give us more guidance regarding this quote? Thank you very much.
The world of verticals is very much, most of it, a pure life. We always consider that the rain and the rest will bring life to the plants. But in fact, the plants themselves absorb energy of the universe. They invite the energies of the environment to come to them and to gather on top of the leaves or whatever that they don't need to kill. In a way, vertical life is a perfect life for the life of human in the universe. This is how life exists, but in a much simpler way than the vertical life. We always consider, we're told that whether the sap goes through the tree and the rest of it. But in fact, a lot of energy which the plants absorb is given as, in a way, to the ground, to where they are. We always consider that the plants extract minerals or whatever from the ground and whatever they do. But in reality, as an energy form, plants give more to earth than they absorb from there. And they revitalize that energy back to themselves. And they take this energy from the space of the environment they exist and they live. As I said many times, if you touch the leaf, any green leaf, you see it's not dry. It has sort of wax in it. It's got sort of oiliness to it. Doesn't matter where they are. This oiliness is, as we always explained before, is created between the two layers of what we call the leaf itself. You have the two layers of a leaf, and within them, like your GANS boxes, they create a specific magnetic gravitational field which attracts different amino acid strengths to the leaf. And then they take this energy and they use it. And in a way, when you see a leaf and a tree and the branches, they feed part of what they absorb into the ground. And this stays as part of the energy for their cycle of life. This is even when you see when a tree turns over, when a tree dies, it doesn't leave only a fingerprint of its branches on the tree. It leaves a massive fingerprint of energy on the ground they grow. Because in the world of the man, we go and what we call, release the energies of materials we don't want by going to whatever we do. The plants, with the energy they absorb, they release it into the ground, they exist. And the earth uses it. That's why we see different trees in specific positions on the planet. Because that part of the earth needs that energy for the processes which are underneath that level or within the environment of that level. We have understood the cycle of creation totally wrong. And then we see that the plants do not kill because they just create those fields which gives them what we call what they need to give to their environment for the environment to exist. And this is the beauty of it. And if man could do that with his body the correct way, we would have not killed. The vertical people in their soul have sorted this problem out. They create the environment on the leaf that the energies which are the surplus on the planet in that environment can sit and give the energy to them today. And mankind has not understood this. And in the process of the new transitions to work of the soul, many of us will absorb the energy different way on our skin and from our environment. That's why some of the recent teachings I explained, man, physical appearance will change beyond imagination of today. Now that we understand this technology, now that we understand the truth about the technology of the creation. It's very easy for mankind to transport the soul of the vertical people across the universe because they live more or less like the rest of the universe. So for them, it's a natural progress. Anything else?
Is there any further translation or question there, Raphael? Might be finishing up the translation, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Essa questão da alma da seres verticais, né, e a relação dela com a alma do homem. Eu gostaria de saber mais desse sentido, desde o útero da semente.
Seu áudio está falando, mas pelo que eu entendi, você quer saber a relação da alma do homem com a alma dos seres verticais, seria isso?
Isso, é.
Tá. So Carlos would like to know more the relationship between the soul of the man and the soul of the vertical beings. If you could explain more about this to us.
Can you repeat?
Let me ask to try to be more clear in the question. Let me ask Carlos. Carlos, você quer saber o que exatamente? A relação entre a alma do homem e a alma dos seres verticais? Mas se puder elaborar melhor.
Isso, nessa questão do ar, da respiração, que foi desse AS-207 que foi falado.
E eu não estou conseguindo te ouvir, que seu áudio está falhando.
Na questão da respiração das plantas e o homem no aprendizado para as viagens espaciais mais profundas.
Sim, acho que eu entendi. So I think it's hard to listen, Carlos. His audio is breaking, but I think you want to learn more about the process of breathing of the plants, how they do this breathing method, and how we as humans can do also the same process for our travels in deep space and even living here on planet Earth.
The process of breathing, or what they call extraction of the fields, is due to the 2 nanolayers of the leaf. Every leaf has 2 nanolayers, one on the top and one underneath. And the difference between these two creates a condition of extraction of what is needed from the environment. You pick up any leaf from any plants and turn the back and the front, they are never the same color. Even on the pine tree, you see a slight difference in one of the sides, a slight narrow line change. And this, now we know the knowledge of the gas making. This is like putting a copper and a zinc. One is nano-coated, is slightly different than the other one. And this creates a field which is the energy which this plant can survive in such an area. That's the way they extract everything they need. It's not so much oxygen, it's so much carbon-related connection to the rest of the environment. That's why they work on a CO2 basis. They need that CO2 to make a connection with the rest of the fields in the atmosphere of the, and we say they release or they extract CO2, don't sleep under a tree at night because it's taking CO2. In fact, that what we call the CO2 is combination of the fields which tree needs in this process of life to connect to the rest of the energy fields of the amino acids or free energies which it needs to be sitting on. And we can replicate it, humans can do, but it's a long way to go. It's very interesting if you understand the principle behind what I'm about to explain, because we all know it. We see the people who eat a lot of garlic, the skin smells of it, the body. There's the people who eat certain kind of food, we see the change in their body color features and their body odor and the rest of it. So this is not that what they release, it's what they absorb from the environment to create that condition to show what they are connected to. And if you understand this, it'll solve a lot of problems in the future for man to feed himself. With what we drink, with what we decide inside, creates that field that absorbs the material from outside. And this is what man has not understood. Any other question?
Okay, we have An interesting question from Stefania in the Q&A, Mr. Kesh. How can you expand on the future cities? How will they look like?
Do we need cities? Or would we make a city out of the planet? Would the man now knowing travels and can find the space of universe will build places to engage his physicality? I wrote years ago that with this technology, the real estates become useless. Would you like to live in a cramped area in a 4-meter square property in the middle of a city with all the noise and hullabaloo, or you like to live in the country, middle of the fields with the cows and the birds, and enjoy yourself? And if you need to come to the city, you come to do the work and go. If you work in a factory, you have to go and produce something. The new Corona condition showed us we don't need the cities. Most of the city offices at the moment in major cities are empty because now people work from home, and the companies don't need to pay so much huge rents. 1,000 square meter office now is only 20 square meters if somebody physically come to see. And what do you get when you go to their offices? Sorry, because of the corona, everybody is working from home, and you can get them online. We have already moved to the steps of not needing the big cities to do our work, and you don't need even to be in the country you work with. And so now that we can travel the dimension of the soul, would your soul allow you to suffer and go through the pain of physicality living in a cage in the city? Because the soul knows can bring you to do your work and go back instantaneously. We go to places, we don't find places anymore. And when we go, it's instantaneous. So, cities of the future, what do we expect from it? When the soul can extend its strength to create a perfect physicality, do we need hospitals? When the soul feels the what the need of man is, do we need prisons and the courts and judges? I told you, this is going to be a different life. People will meet in the dimension of physicality just to love and share the love of Creator with each other. This is something you will see a lot in the coming time. It won't be the time of your children, it's in your own time. And you've got the first taste of it with Corona. Government will force to support people who have no jobs, and people whose jobs is not just enough to eat, but be enough to have a comfortable life, and somehow they can find the funds. And somehow Keshe Foundation can produce enough goals for them. I said to a politician, not very far, long time ago, we'll go back if there's the pleasure of the governments to have a solid backing as gold. We give you the enhancement units, create as much gold as you like to be the backing of your currency, and give wealth to your people. And how you can do. Then we go, as we say, we don't need the actor to change the backing of the greenback from gold to fantasy money.
Sounds like we should give Mr. Kesh a minute here. And Doug mentions in the chat, thank you, Antonio, for your interaction with Mr. Kesh, which opens the technology even faster to humanity. Enjoy your visit to Linz.
It is a trip. It's something which we We have a reason that we launched the 3000, what do you call it? Energy plasma units. This is the minimum common denominator we need to create the dome. The spread of the new enhancement energy unit will become part of the future satellite systems of the transmutation of the energy of the map. So when you buy or you get one of these and place it in your home or in your office or whatever, you start the next cycle of what we call no need for satellite. And this is essential for us to complete, to be able to enter the next phase. The faster we deliver the initial 3,000 units, it's like first Chinese are trying to put, I think, 500 or 5,000 satellites. You don't need to go to space now. Use a transformer of energies. You will understand exactly how it works in a very short time once they all run into operation. We use the universal network and not the man's communication side network in that process. Because you don't only need to travel on Earth, you need to travel beyond if you go anywhere. And these 3,000 new enhancements has a purpose. We always don't explain them to tell people what we do because it's beyond your comprehension. You already, a lot of you made the backups and you have connected the, what we call a substructure. Now we bring the next level, which is the most important part. Those of you who get access to these systems, do not bother try to understand it because the knowledge is in a very simple way put out, but has a huge implication in the future of the what we call development of demand knowledge and a lot of other things. Any other question?
Elizabeth has a question in the Q&A. First of all, says, thank you for so much love donated by you in the universe. What is your opinion about Google's AI, which calls itself a person and legally seeks to be recognized as such?
First time I hear of it, so I cannot have an opinion. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's just the AI is just what they call artificial intelligence, and well, some companies will be putting out robots like that will have artificial intelligence, but Google has an artificial intelligence which calls itself a person and wants to be legally recognized as a person.
Didn't the Saudis bought the first beautiful girl as a real thing? So women attracted the Saudis men. So let us see what attracts the humanity to Google.
She may demand that she is a person and will change the laws behind the scenes in order to be recognized, probably. You're getting quite powerful.
You can do that only with men in Saudis. Nowhere else. When you have 4 wives, your brain works in a different way.
I suppose, but men are men and women are women, and that seems to be a universal kind of issue.
Yeah. It's like the two sides of the leaves together, they create life.
Well, that brings us exactly to the next question, but go ahead.
Go ahead. What's
Pardon
the
me?
next question? What's the next
from
question?
Safania about, you mentioned the both sides of the leaf earlier, and the question or the observation is even the hands and feet of the man remind me of the leather of the plants. And she mentions the top of the hand is different than the palm of the hand, and so with the feet. So that's a good observation. Our palms are totally different than the top parts of our hands, and that's very much like the leaf.
Well, yeah, if you go back to some teachings, the very past time, I showed you how to put your hand out and absorb. You can do a lot. Your fingers, the shape of your fingers, everything else with the construction of the skin on it, dictates a lot of way what you give and what you receive. It's very interesting. When you enter the enhancement units or the preconditioning of the enhancement units, the head units, we usually give people the first time the two, what I call electrodes to hold. They call them joysticks, some people. And then we ask them, whenever you feel you can let go, but initially we have to establish the connection between them, what we need, what system is set up. And 90% of the people who are spiritually developed, 90% of the people, they sit with their two hands on their lap, facing upwards with an open condition. What is interesting when I look is the shape of the head, which gives me a lot of knowledge. Those who sit in their chair and they open their hand and they have their fingers like this. Those who have fingers like this. And there are those who have their fingers literally turned. I know which one is going to benefit by the system, and I'm 100% right in every way of it. People who come with this finger setting, and some of these will get nothing. They're grabbers. The physicality says, I want to take. Most of the people who come with their straight fingers are the ones which enjoy the trip because they have come here with a clear conscience. It's part of their life. They live the life. It's not just being in there. And you see them with a what I call a giving hand. We tested this over years with many volunteers who came to me for building them what I call the enhanced soul units in Belgium. One of the first things I asked people was, can you open your hands in front of me? And they just open it, like, showing the palm. And from it, I know what kind of the person I'm dealing with. Whatever you give is not good enough. And we see this very, very clearly in the enhancement unit. People who've been there, they observe I walk in quite a number of times when you're in. It's not just watching the system, it's to watch the physical behavior, your hands, the way you sit, the way you couch, the way you move. And in the first chairs, I know what more or less we're going to get from the person. And 99% of the people who come like this, they don't experience anything. Because they're there to take, oh, I'm here to give. Don't fool me, your physicality tells me you're lying. I've come here to steal. And the system is very knowledgeable. Any other question? It's 12 o'clock. The God is calling for money. You can hear the church bell.
I wonder what you're talking about. Okay.
Pardon?
I wonder what you're talking about, the church bell. Okay.
You
Yeah.
could hear the church bell in the background.
God calling for money.
That's what the churches are nowadays, abusing people socially, physically, or their money in their pocket, either way. Any other question?
Okay, so Ed has a question in the Q&A. Says, hi, Mr. Kesh. So have you always known what you've taught, or was there a point in your life where the creation became clear to you, like tapping into the plasma? Or was it all just accumulated education on your own accord? And the three layers, like of the leaf, is the covalent bond creating the center energy received and given, creating the center energy received and given, right? I think that was two questions. So he's interested in whether you've always known what you're teaching, or was there a point in your life where the creation became clear to you, like tapping into the plasma?
I've explained this some times ago in one of the teachings, exactly the process I went through. And it's very much when you talk about revelations, or when you talk about Moses or Jesus or whatever, they go through the step when they see the light and the rest. It doesn't come that way. I knew at a young age that there is a destiny. There was something to happen. I was asked, I was given the opportunity around the age of 19 to take the banner of the knowledge, what is to be. And I clearly remember battling that I can't accept. I'm too young, I want to. In mid-20s and that time, I went through a very strange experiences. I've been through this completely twice, where it was like you wake up, but your body is a stranger to you. Your fear of the physicality is not there. And I knew I'd been given a new soul, elevation of the soul. The second time was much easier because it lasts for days. You touch a cup, it's not your touch. It's like the elevation, the knowledge is what you have is much bigger. And I refused both times because I was not mature. When I was 40, I accepted. And the knowledge came with the elevation of the soul. Because it was already there, it was built from young age. It wasn't something it was flashed in. And then I understood why I was born in a house with the field radiation, why I went to education as a nuclear, why I went in the world of business. Everything made sense that I could understand the full spectrum. It wasn't something like as a virgin, suddenly dumped on. But you understand the development, you understand the progress. And then the knowledge is part of it. In my teachings, you hear it when I listen. I know the difference when the soul teaches and when the man teaches. And is the dimension of the soul of the creator. That's why the knowledge is so pure. And there is no expectation. And living the life like this for such a long time, always said it shows the purity of self. I never asked for anything. I just facilitated the physicality. always said, what is there to be will be there. I don't ever worry about tomorrow what's going to be, because it's a cycle of this. They're always there when it's need to be, and it changes according to the time when the souls have agreed to be done. And sometimes when it goes through the time delay, I thank the soul that allowed that delay for me to see, to understand what in the dimension of physicality I could not understand. But the soul is telling on with its body. And it's very clear, especially if you listen to some of the teachings, the word of the Creator through the soul is very clear. It's not the word of the and never claim to be a prophet. We're just messengers of knowledge, but through the source, not through what I call play games and theology. It's not the knowledge that you gathered, it's the knowledge which is gifted, which is totally different. And as I've said many times, many of you I used to teach with knowledge seekers sitting around me and live in the Desenzano and Valletta and other places. I never carry a transcript. Most of the time, even Rick says, "What's up for today?" I said, "I don't know." When you start teaching, you know what he wants to release.
It's true. It's worse than that. I never know beforehand what's going to happen during the workshop. Basically, we do the seat of the pants method, wing it.
Oh, is the knowledge of the Creator doesn't need the seat of the pant. He knows, he's already taught the rest. It's interesting the way when, like today, knowledge seekers go back to the teaching of number so and so, or such a conference or whatever, and how it matches up years later with what the teaching is today. Because the seed, what it is said, he's so kind. And he's so omnipotent in knowledge. Sometimes I, like you, listen to the teaching, because when the soul teaches, the physicality talks, but needs to understand. I sometimes listen 2 or 3 times to the teaching to see what the teaching was. And what it means in application in the physical side of the development of the technology. Never claimed much. And when I claim Messiah, because it's a soul of the Creator, not the man. The man soon will understand. Any other question?
Well, we had a question from Jalal. He says, as you say, Mr. Cash, are we there yet?
We haven't even started the journey. We have started a new journey through the soul of the man, and this is the beginning of time. We are still packing the things for it to be ready to start the journey. Shall we call it a day?
I think we've run out of questions that would be appropriate.
Yep. Thank you very much for today. Please understand why we released the power enhancement unit. And please make sure that we have at least a few hundred in each continent. It has to be. That we can go through the next step of the what I call the development for freeing man from the shackles of present prison. You will soon understand. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. And thanks to everyone for joining us today and participating in today's 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And our next public workshop coming up will be on Monday, July 11th, with the testimonials meeting. And people are recommended and asked to attend if you have personal testimonials of the plasma technology that you can share with others, knowledge seekers, publicly. That would be lovely to have you in that workshop and to get your experience added to the list of people who have shared over many workshops. So again, that's on Monday, July 11th, and that starts at 8 p.m. Central European Time.
Can I come in, please, 1 second? Maybe it'll be good for us to send you some of the recordings of the testimonials of the flight system, because we don't get a chance to show it and set up a special programs for it.
That would be terrific, because we could use some material like that for sure.
Let me speak with the people in the background, see how we can get you some of the testimonial from the flight system, because this way people will see it. We recorded many voice or camera, and we can share it. This way,
yes.
Easier. Sometimes when it's very special, we put the testimonial. Otherwise, we pass on it to you that you can put into your teachings.
Or if there's knowledge seekers that have gone back to their hometown or whatever, and would have some thoughts about their experience when they were in Linz, they could also come on to the show and give a testimonial. Then we'd have a recording of it that we could pass on to the Keshe Foundation.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. We'll try to do what we can. Thank you. Bye.
Great, thank you. Okay, we look forward to that. So people can attend that workshop, and we'll see some additional information from the space travel testimonials. All right, well, thanks to everyone, and I appreciate everyone coming here today. It's been another wonderful workshop, and we look forward to all the developments of the Keshe Foundation as we go into a whole new world of technology, which is to do with our inside technology and connecting with our soul. And it's a wonderful world that we're entering into, I think.